We're back with another Bolo video and I'm going to get straight into it. So tip number one, you've all heard of Clive Sinclair and everybody knows him for the ZX Spectrum computer in the 80s, but he also brought out the Sinclair calculator in the 1970s, and these are really highly sought after. So if you see any of these out there, they do fetch a lot more than these completes. Some of them can fetch up to £200 or £300. Also, Casio calculators. Casio calculators from the 1980s and 70s can fetch hundreds. So I'll be doing some more research on this soon and I'll bring it. Tip number two, we're going all the way back to the 1990s now, and we're looking at some really cool t-shirts. Yes, these t-shirts are worth a lot of money and they're by a company called Hanes. Now Hanes designed a lot of t-shirts for concerts, for bands and also for TV movies. And if you do see any of these t-shirts out in the wild, they're mostly from the 90s and they do fetch a lot of money. So most of them will be single stitch, but you will find some of them from the early 2000s that are double stitch. And if you do find any Hanes t-shirts, snap them up. So going on to tip number three, you've all heard about Thomas and Friends Trackmaster, and I think a lot of you know that they are quite valuable. So you've got to find certain trains when it comes to Trackmasters. Certain trains fetch a lot of money and you want to target the years 2007 to 2010 because they are the most sought after Trackmasters. And as you can see, some of these can fetch a lot of money. If you get the standard Thomas train, then it's not going to fetch a lot of money, so it's all about learning, doing your research and finding out what sells and what doesn't. You have to be very careful with these to make sure the batteries don't leak, and also there's a lever at the top of the train, so it's always good to test them to make sure they're in good working order before you post them out. So I'm going to take a closer look now in some pictures at what these trains look like. So Stepney is always a really good one to look for, and this train here, I'm not quite sure what it's called, but there's also Douglas is one of them, which is coming up soon, and Donald. They can be sold as a set. So if you do see Trainmasters stuff, make sure it's the older Trainmasters and snap it up. Tip number four, finally, it's a company called Arabia from Finland, and I think a lot of you know that most of the pottery that comes from Scandinavia is quite valuable, and these are the Moomin cups. So the Moomin cups, some of these can fetch hundreds. So you've seen what the stamp is underneath the cup. These are something that you want to be looking out for. Things to avoid. Now you've all heard about tie beanies. They were doing really well about 10 years ago, but now they're really hard to sell. You can sell some of them, but they're quite hard. Also, annuals. Now this is where I always fail because I love picking up nostalgia, but unfortunately a lot of these old cartoon annuals are just not worth a lot of money. They're great to own, great to have, but in terms of reselling, I wouldn't bother picking them up. As a reseller, you create yourself through trial and error, so never beat yourself up for making a mistake. It's all a learning curve. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Do hit the subscribe button, and I want to say thank you for all the people that subscribed last time. Because you did that, it enables me to create more videos like this. Have a great weekend everyone.